let's do the shameless advertisement. You work for Senior Care Pharmacy Coalition. If we've got listeners who want to be engaged, how do they get engaged?
Well, well, first of all, we do have a website just like most other people. And if you just search for Senior Care Pharmacy Coalition, you'll find it, which will, I think, number one, give you a sense of what our priorities are. Number two, give you a sense of our approach. And our approach, we start with analysis. You need to know, you need to have data. You need to have analysis. You need to have the kind of information that can persuade policymakers, not just members of Congress, but their staffs, agencies like MedPAC, who are very data driven. You have to, something beats nothing every day. And if you can't provide credible evidence to support what you are claiming, you lose in Washington. So that's step number one. And you will see extensive analytic work that we've done over the last 5 or 6 years with various third-party research firms. Then, you gotta have kind of a grassroots base. That is, you have to have relationships back home with members of Congress. And so the broader we have participation in the long-term care pharmacy world in our organization, the better we're going to do with that. You mentioned before, UNC health system, I guess, right? There's a hospital in every community. There is not a long-term care pharmacy in every community, although there's a lot of need for long-term care. And so the more long-term care pharmacies that are coordinating behind a unified advocacy effort, the more effective that advocacy effort is going to be, right? And so, while I would encourage everybody to join SCPC, we have a track record of, achieving results and making changes in policy that benefit long-term care pharmacies specifically. That's our mission. There are lots of organizations who represent pharmacies incredibly well, but we are the only ones that uniquely focus on the public policy needs of long-term care pharmacies as businesses. And so that's from my point of view, our major selling point.
And I think of it, the big companies, they all fund government affairs organizations, right? They view it as a very important part of their business because they operate in a world that does have to comply with regulation and where those regulations can change. And so what I think about a lot is, hey, if you're a smaller organization, you're not employing that yourself. How are you making sure your voice is getting heard on equal footing with those really large companies who are going to have folks in Washington talking to everybody?
Most long-term care pharmacies are not large enough to really have kind of in-house government relations, right? So that's our role is to try to fill that gap. And while David can and often does beat Goliath, David still needs the stones for the sling.
There you go. That's a great one. That's a great one.